Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. Trevor Plouffe's Twins get the business this weekend. Dodgers pitching staff, questions and answers. Talkin Baseball's here. 3 weeks left. 3 weeks left. Sidearm.
Susan Slusser.
Ryan Walker.
Okay. I'll write about you.
Doorknob. Shower. Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek. Make sure you guys download the SeatGeek app. Go get your tickets there, the official ticket marketplace of MLB. Code TALKIN10, 10% off any tickets on SeatGeek. Whether you're a new customer or not, maybe your team's out of it. Go check out some of the young kids they're trying out there. Get the scouting report for next year. Or, in a couple of these tight races, figure out your playoff rotation. Justin Verlander struggling. Does Trev have to send the text? Otherwise, Houston's dominating. Go to SeatGeek. Click the link. Talkin10, 10% off SeatGeek. Trev, formerly a Valley man. You're now a San Diego guy. How you doing?
San Diegan.
San Diego.
Yeah, that's what they call us. I'm doing good. Yeah, I had a nice little weekend down there. Did a youth clinic, charity youth clinic for the Still Got Game Foundation down at Sunshine Little League, which is a cool name for a little league. Yeah. Had the UCSD softball team out there to help out. Those girls were cool. We talked ball. Like I love talking ball with different people. Sure. And I don't really talk ball with softball teams that often.
Right.
They're grinders, dude.
Yeah.
We're talking about I was like, yeah, you guys, your game is so fast. You can't make one misstep in the infield. They said 2.9 seconds. I'm like, we're 4.1. You get a ground ball, 4.1. That's what you need to get the ball over to first base. They're 2.9. So I learned that, and I've always had a respect for the game of softball because it is fast paced. But it was cool, man. Got to hang out with Kenny Lofton, LaTroy,
Kenny Lofton,
Jock. These are all first name guys. I feel like Kenny, LaTroy, Jock. Those guys by their first name. Steve Trexel.
Oh, the human rain delay.
We made fun of him for that. Randy Wolf was there. I said, Randy, I would have raked you.
Cambio.
Yeah, he would have struck me out.
Fastball in the hands. Glad you're growing the game. Glad you're growing the game, Trev. I'm good. I mean, first NFL weekend. We had an NFL live stream this weekend. Always nice. I think baseball, I want baseball and football to kind of have a full-blown détente. Football's got their thing going on. Baseball, we got our thing going on. We'll give you some Sunday action. You're good.
Okay.
I think I've referenced this before, but it's kind of turned into an internet meme of the two gangs, just with the towels tied. I think football and baseball can live there. We're good. You guys get
tennis. Tennis screwed up this weekend.
Tennis screwed up a little bit. Tennis has been out a little bit.
It's a great game, but you put the men's U.S. Open final competing against football. It's not smart, guys.
Sports need stars. Sports need stars. Shohei Ohtani, heard of him? 50-50.
Susan
Slusser. Ryan Walker. Connor Norby. Let's
Pitching Ninja.
My guy. It's a tidy American League, but it's Monday. So that's where we got to start. And can't wait for the standings. Trev will have those for you. Let's get into it. Oh, what's this first series here? The Royals. The Royals sweep the Minnesota Twins. The Minnesota Twins scored in 1 inning of this series. Trev, that's not good. That's not good. Cole Rygans. He shuts them down 6 innings clean. Michael Massey. Absolutely. In that second game, the Nightmare Bailey Ober did his part, but the boys gave it up late as the Royals come back with a 4-run rally in the 8th. Bobby Witt leading the league in batting average. And then on Sunday, it's not pretty, but a sac fly and a Salvi RBI single. Get it done behind Michael Waka. Royals sweep They move ahead of the Twins in the wild card. They might have just secured a playoff spot, while the Twins are 6-14 in their last 20. Oh boy. We'll talk about that. The Houston Astros, they take 2 out of 3 from the Snakes. They hold serve, tennis reference, at their home court. They do lose on that last day, and Justin Verlander gets rocked around the park. 3 innings, 8 earned runs. Pavin Smith with 3 homers in his first 3 at-bats. Eugenio goes 4 for 4. Jake, stop talking about the Snakes, because Houston won the series. Framber Valdez, 7 innings shut. Yep. Jordan, 2 for 4 with 2 homers. Yep. Jose Altuve with 6 hits in the first 2 games. Houston, they win their 6 straight games at home. Kyle Tucker is back. And with Tucker and Bregman, who's been banged up, they're going to prioritize their health. Smart. Ketel Marte is back for the Snakes. Ooh, I like those 2 teams. The Tampa Bay Rays take 2 out of 3 from the Orioles. Ayo. After Dean Kremer shuts them down 6-0 earned runs, Gunnar Henderson goes big fly. The Rays come back in a big way. Trev's Johnny DeLuca is all over this series. Ryan Pepio and Zach Littell with strong starts. First time the Rays have taken down the Orioles in a series in Baltimore since 2021. It's 2024. Edwin Uceta, you guys know him from this show. He's been lights out on the back end. Corbin Burns has a base stealing problem. He's given up 41 stolen bases, most in Orioles history. Yo. Tigers, they take 2 out of 3 from the A's, and that's kind of what it is, except you wouldn't expect them to win on Scooble Day. In 13 innings, Seth Brown with the RBI walk-off. But these Tigers, they're staying alive. Didn't think I'd do that. Nobody gets that reference. Kerry Jesus was a Carpenter. Parker Meadows. Trey Sweeney, sweet swinging lefty, 4 for 4 as the rookie tries to figure it out. The Sox series. White Sox, Red Sox. Red Sox get the first 2. They lose 1 to the White Sox, which we do deem as a loss. Man, Garrett Crochet, 2 innings, 4 earned runs. He went from hot to trot to not to trot. Tyler O'Neill, my guy, 2-homer game in that middle one. Full pension Piv with a nice start. Your final American League Series, the Rangers take 3 out of 4 from the Halos. Simeon and Lowe, both homer in that final game. Zeke Duran turning it on to finish the season after a tough start. And my guy, Aldegheri, 6 innings, 1 earned run from the Italian pitching in the bigs. That's what happened in the American League. Boom.
High and tight, Pop. High and tight. I know you want the standings, and I got them for you. And it is Monday, September 9th, so we will start out west.
Yeah.
FUEGO Goes West. A good movie. Have you ever seen it?
When you bust out the T-Rex shades, that's real for talking baseball people.
I don't want people to see my real eyes when I'm talking about the Twins.
Yeah.
So out west, Houston, a 4.5 game lead over Seattle. They're 77-66. Seattle 73-71. Texas 70-74. They've been playing better ball. I think they should try to get to 500. How about that? They ain't making the playoffs. Try to get to 500. Maybe over 500 would be nice. Oakland, who's been playing great baseball since July 1st, 62-82. Lawrence Butler said, if you just stop moving your head, you can hit the ball. A lot of people figure that out. The Angels, 59-84 at the bottom of that division. We'll stay. Let's go west to east. So we'll go central now. Cleveland, 81-62. A 2.5 game lead over the Kansas City Royals, who are 79-65. I still cannot believe the jump that this team has made in 1 year.
Right?
Unbelievable. Yes, they swept my Twins, who are now 5 games back of Cleveland, 76-67. The Tigers, 2 games over 5, 73-71. And then the White Sox. I mean, the AL Central is the most interesting division in all of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
The White Sox are 33-111. Okay. We'll go out east. The Yanks, 82-61. They have the best record in the American League, and people still complain about them on the daily. Baltimore half game back, 82-62. Boston 72-71. Tampa 71-72, and Toronto 68-76. Now we're talking the American League wild card, Jake. And right now, Baltimore would have the number 1 spot. They're up on the Royals, who have the number 2 spot. The Twins still holding on to that 3rd wild card spot, but maybe not for long because teams are closing in. And a couple teams that were like, I think we kind of said no way it's going to happen. It might happen. Seattle 3.5 back. Detroit 3.5 back. Boston 4 back. The Rays are 5 back. Like anything can happen at the end of the year. But as we stand right now, New York's leading the division, Cleveland's leading the division, Houston's leading their division, and then it is Baltimore, Kansas City, and Minnesota. And those are the standings in the American League.
Trevor, thank you for that. Yeah, no simulator today, but if the playoffs started today, Yankees would be the 1, Guard Dogs the 2, with Houston hosting the Minnesota Twins and the Orioles hosting the Royals. Yeah, the Yanks and Orioles have been having a little bit of a mid-off for about 2 months now. Both kind of operating around 500. But again, hey, the work you do early in the year does matter for some things. Trev, let's start with your Twins. And you got the glasses on, hiding your pain. They get swept by the Royals. This was massive for the Royals. They had been limping ever since the Vinny Pasquantino injury. And here they come back, and this is what we said on Friday, like, hey, you can make it all go away with one good series. Not only did they have a good series, they had a great series. And the Twins' offense, Trev, you know I'm an offense guy. And sure, the Kansas City Royals pitching deserves love, but only scoring in 1 inning in the 27 you played this weekend. Yo.
No, it's not good. And I said this, if you listen to the show, I said, I think that one of Kansas City or Minnesota, there's a possibility that they fall out of a wild card spot. I thought it might be Kansas City. They were kind of going through things. We mentioned they lost Vinny. He's been one of the biggest run producers for them. What I forgot to realize is Minnesota the offense has gone cold. They've been a good offense for a majority of the season, but now, Buxton's been out. They thought he was going to come back. Now, they don't know. Correa, there's no timeline. The Twins just don't ever say anything to the media about these guys, so we just have no idea what's going on. But those guys missing has created a big hole in the offense. A lot of guys, have stepped up at times, but it's going to continue to be a problem. This is you got to tip your cap to the Royals for continuing to do what they do, scoring enough, pitching. I don't even know, man, kind of where to start here. The second game was probably the most controversial for Twins fans as Bailey Ober gets pulled. I believe it was 83 pitches. And Rocco went to Duran in the 8th. And he has been not good in non-save situations. Put him in there with the game on the line to get a save. This is where he thrives. He's been really, really bad in any other appearances. So I didn't really get an explanation of why Duran first instead of Jack. Sometimes you might say, well, this is the top of the order, or here's the fire, go put it out with our one guy, but I don't think that was the case. I believe it was towards the bottom of the lineup when he came in. I don't know. He ended up giving up some runs. They ended up losing that game. It's the second time over the last month that Rocco has pulled Bailey Ober, went to the bullpen. The bullpen's just coughed the game up. And both times he shouldn't have pulled Bailey Ober. You got to let your guys go. 83 pitches. But again, you just got to tip your cap. Walker with a great start on Sunday to finish off the sweep. And it's a little bit of great job, Royals, in your pitching and your bullpen. And then hey, Twins offense is bad. Apparently, and I know I'm sorry for Kansas City fans. I'm kind of speaking just about the Twins here,
please,
but I'm giving what I got. After the game, Rocco ripped into the Twins. I don't know what that means. He barely spoke to the media. He said it was an unprofessional series, and that's all I got. You can run with it. Rocco's not a great media manager. It's not. He dances around questions. He doesn't really get into it. They like to keep their cards close to the vest. What is that saying?
Ooh, to keep your cards close to your chest.
Or vest.
I mean, both kind of work.
You guys know
keep
what
it close to a
about.
vest. That's where it is.
Both work. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they always do that. They don't really like to give away anything in the media. Like, they don't want to say anything. They're always worried it's going to be taken out of context, all these things. But it's a very, very disappointing part of the season for the Twins. 16 and 14 in the last 6 and 14, excuse me, in the last 20s. That ain't good.
Trev, when we do our weekly Boone interview, Boone gets Boone's the manager of the Yankees, and like you talked about, it's being a manager, you have to do 2 interviews a day. You do a pregame and a postgame. Like being in front of it, it's a lot. I mean, 162 games times 2. Everyone knows that.
That's the job, though.
That's the job. Like, that's a huge part of the job, especially now.
It's like probably the biggest part of the job.
So I get what you're saying there. We have to read through Aaron Boone speak. If Aaron Boone says something's a maybe, that means it's happening. Like, if we're like, hey, are you going to move this guy up the lineup? If he says no, that means no. If he says, oh, we're thinking about all options, it's like, hey, they might do that. Translating Trevor Plouffe speak, a few weeks back, you were talking about your Twins, and you were not gung-ho. And we've talked about the bodies a lot, the Jimmies and the Joes, Correa and Buxton, and just like some of the stuff you were seeing on the field. And I mean, it kind of lines up exactly with this timeline of struggling that it's where the Twins did put in their work. Remember there was a time was it a month and a half ago that the Twins had one of the best splits that like from April through the end of July or something, they had one of the best.
They started out very
baseball.
poor, then they came on very hot. Yeah, but that was, I mean, it was buoyed by a 12-game win streak. 7 of them were against the White Sox.
Right.
The other there was 3 against the Angels. Like, there's been a lot of talk about. I believe, and I think you can quote me on this. The Twins were either 500 or under 500 against every team, or like all the teams except the White Sox. They went 12-1 against them. It's showing up now, dude. There's 3 rookie pitchers in the starting rotation. The bullpen has not been as deep or reliable as many people thought it would be. They still have some guys at the back end, but that's showing up. And then the offense not showing up over the last couple weeks is tough. I still think they're a decent offensive team. Royce Lewis is struggling right now. They need him to go, but he's young, man. I don't know. They got problems. They got problems, coach.
Hopefully they have a solution. They're playing the Angels this week. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to stop the fight, but with what the Royals did this weekend, they might have locked up a playoff spot. And yeah, with both of these teams have soft spots on their schedule coming up. I think the Royals finish with, or no, I was looking at the Tigers because, like you mentioned, the Tigers, Mariners, and Red Sox.
Tigers have the easiest schedule left.
They're back in 3.5 for the Detroit Tigers. That's real. Same for the Mariners, Red Sox. I mean, they're at 4, which again, 4 and 5 this time of year. I was going through the percentages. I think MLB.com has their postseason bracket and tiebreakers, which is a good place to go click around if you're interested. They have the teams separated by where are those percentages? Oh, they have almost there for clinching postseason berth at 90%. Yankees, Orioles, Guardians, Royals. So I guess that's what I was trying to say. 90% or better. Yankees, Orioles, Guardians, Royals, Astros, Phillies, Brewers, Dodgers, Padres. Sure. 50 to 89%, which I think the DBacks are on the highest end of this scale. Twins, Braves, Mets. But again, more than a good chunk. So in the mix, 10 to 49%. So these would be your, unlikely, but they got a chance. Nobody. 1 to 9%. So when I say the Red Sox, Tigers, Mariners, Cubs, and Rays are alive, 1 to 9% that's thin. I'm surprised the Tigers' odds are that low, knowing their schedule and the Twins floundering a bit. But again, like last time, let's take this to the Royals because they deserve to be talked about.
Yeah.
The Royals were struggling, and I said, hey, you got the Twins coming up. Take care of it, and we'll forget everything. And we have. And if you're the Twins, you have the Angels coming up. So that's just next, and that's the life of a ball player. I know we've done it with the Royals before, man, but what they've done with this pitching staff, Cole Reagans having his breakout year. I think they're top 4 in the rotation. Everyone has a 1.25 ERA plus. Michael Wacha, man, like that was a signing that, let's be honest, if Michael Wacha signed with the Dodgers or the Rays, we would have been like, ooh, Michael Wacha's kind of been good. I wouldn't be surprised if they tap into something. Michael Wacha and Seth Lugo signed with Kansas City, and everyone was kind of like, this feels like everyone was critical of the Cardinals signing older pitchers and the Royals not having a lot of success recently, that everyone was like, all right, Royals, glad you did your business. Lugo has been incredible, 3.05 ERA. Reagans, 3.33. Singer, 3.35. Wacha, 3.34. What they've put together with Bobby Witt's MVP season, Salvi constantly being a statue guy. Their veteran ads, Hunter Renfroe came back for this series. Like, they just need some contributions from the offense. They're getting an effort from the pitching staff, and Lucas Erceg has been strong for them on the back end.
Yeah, they've been, I don't know. There's a handful of teams that I feel like have really been surprising this year. I think they're at the top of the pile. Yeah. Obviously, we know what the record was last year. We saw all the signings. We patted on the back and said, hey, look, the Royals are like going out and signing guys. They're trying to win. Didn't know the recipe was going to taste this good.
Ooh,
they were just throwing a bunch of stuff in there. All of a sudden, take a little taste.
Right.
Oh, we found something. The mixture worked. Other teams you could talk about, Brewers, obviously, I feel like are surprising after what they did before the season. You could talk about the Guardians, young team. What was their identity coming into the season? Who cares? They found one. I guess the Mets, I have kind of an interesting take on the Mets. I saw it floating around the internet, so we'll get there.
Wow.
But yeah, man, hats off to the Royals there. It's insane the turnaround that they've been able to do with it. And some of the names, bro. Tommy Pham coming over.
Yeah.
Getting some RBIs in this series. Yuli Gurriel sitting in Gwinnett at my favorite Hooters, coming in sack fly RBI. Like they're making improvements. Hey, guess what? The teams that made improvements at the deadline have largely benefited from it.
Oh.
That's crazy.
Trev analytics, huh? I think that was the biggest series to dive into, so I'm glad we did. Go Royals, go! Maybe get that Matt Quatraro Manager of the Year campaign
Yeah, it's gonna be
going.
tough. Him and Steven Vogt co.
Wow,
that could happen.
Ooh, be a nice winter meetings picture. The Astros handle their business, and they've been handling their business. And Framber, Valdez, Framber's been on a tear. Yordan Alvarez has been on an absolute tear. Seeing Altuve with 6 hits in 2 games. They're undefeated in Kikuchi's start. You mentioned teams that added. I think they're 7-0 in Yusei Kikuchi starts. For Houston, they are, and this is fun. And if you're a team that doesn't go to the postseason often, unlike Houston, it's the time of year you start having some real talks. What's our rotation going to look like? Who kicks to the bullpen? Can we start this guy? Are we going to play a left-on-left matchup, or do we want that guy in the lineup? Houston gets to ask those questions every year. And this year, I think the surprising one on the forefront is Justin Verlander has been struggling. Espada had some quotes on it, and we need Justin Verlander. 0-4 in his 4 starts since returning from the IL with an ERA over 9. We got a couple weeks to tune it up, Trev, but that could be a very interesting combo.
Yeah, Ronel Blanco, who I believe has the sixth best ERA in the American League, they kicked him to the bullpen. He had a nice little outing there, and they were supposed to, continue and do a six-man rotation to finish out the season. Yeah, then they're gonna pare it down to four starters. That's what you do in the postseason. I'm very curious to see where they go. Obviously, it's going to be Framber. Hunter Brown's going to be in there. I mean, I guess you kind of got to put Kikuchi in there now, right? Switch things up.
Kikuchi's in there. Arrighetti was rolling. He has a hiccup that, yeah.
I think that, those are going to be the discussions. Who lines up better? Is it going to be Blanco, Arrighetti? Does Verlander figure it out in time? These are real conversations because they understand. If anybody understands what it takes in the postseason, it's the Houston Astros. So yeah, they do have some interesting discussions to go, but great discussions. Great. This is not a problem.
True. That's true.
This is like, okay, let's figure out who our four of our best six pitchers are. Let's go. They have the back end of the bullpen. Like these guys are. Or there's more on the Astros coming later, but they do handle business. They could have swept except for Pavin Smith.
Yeah.
3 homers, just taking old Verlander to the schoolyard a little bit. That's pretty cool to see. He's only had how many games has he played in? Only 84 at bats, I think. He came into that game 770s OPS after the game, left in the 9s. Let's go, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta love that.
Man, Pavin Smith is a weird Diamondbacks history of okay, we've kind of liked this prospect on base guy. Has had some tough moments. He's had some iconic moments where he's got thrown in that postseason run.
89 at bats this year. That's what happens. You hit 3 homers in a game, your OPS can jump up a little bit. Good. Now he's looking at on the jumbotron, but yeah, that's me.
More guys should do that.
More guys should hit 3 homers in a game. Kyle Tucker's back.
Kyle Tucker is back. So that's something to watch as he goes. Gets into it. The Diamondbacks, they fell a half game back from the Padres. We'll get to the NL standings later. You guys know that. But yeah, just like a thought exercise if you're at home, whether your team's in the dance or not, but say Justin Verlander limps to the finish line, but his last start is 6 shutout, 7 Ks, and say Spencer Arrighetti goes out. He has 3 more good starts. He's had a big second half, and then his last start, he gets knocked around the yard.
I'd say there's the most logical path for them. I gotta believe that innings is in the discussion. Some of these guys are throwing, more innings than they ever have before, so that you have to think about that. What do they look like,
right,
coming into the postseason? I feel like there's got to be some sort of 4A, 4B piggyback situation. Let's start one guy, but this guy's ready to go with 3 or 4 innings if need be. If not, okay, we save him and the good bullpen comes in. They're gonna dance around this a little bit, kind of play the matchups, if you will.
I will. Trev, honestly, in the American League, we talked about the Tigers staying alive. They took 2 out of 3 from Oakland. They would have liked to have that first one in 13. Again, a lot of young players having fun on that field, whether you're our guy Lawrence Butler or whether you're Parker Meadows and some of the young Tigers. Like I said, the Rays took 2 out of 3. I think we're talking some Johnny DeLuca later. His homer kind of wins that series for them in the end. And I don't know, the Orioles... Again, it's been a little bit of a slog as they've been 500 for 2.5 months now. Not Gunnar. He's been great. Adley Rutschman having a tough year, especially from the left side of the plate. So you wonder if that's injury or is that hit a point of mental? Because he's still been crushing it as a righty hitter. And as the season gets longer and those numbers and those emotions, that's kind of all I had left on the AL. So I'll let you, Chef Trev, get in there.
Well, the Rays are such an up and down team. If they beat anybody in a series, okay, I could see that. But going up and doing it against Baltimore's a nice little feather in the cap for them because they hadn't done it in a while. If you're Baltimore, you just rebound and continue to go. They're in a good spot. This Detroit Oakland series, it's the battle of the teams that have, I believe, the best records in the AL since July 1st.
I don't think it's best. I think we got duped.
I know they've been playing great ball.
Yes.
How about that?
Yes.
Who does have the best record since July 1st in the AL?
July 1st. Let me get
top of my head, I'm trying to think.
Let's see. DBacks.
Anyways, you guys check that out. I think the Tigers,
Astros, Athletics. So I mean, it's
pretty awesome, dude. A lot of that has come with Lawrence Butler and what he's been able to do over the last 6 weeks. He made a hitting adjustment with Darren Bush, the hitting coach there. Talk about head movement. And that's the number one thing I talk about in baseball is having a quiet head, no matter what. I did that in my clinic in San Diego. I always tell the kids, like, you start down, stay down in the infield. You want to move around like a velociraptor. That's what I tell these kids. They're like, what's a velociraptor? They don't really know. They kind of know, yeah. But they hunch. They're always moving. Whether they throw from here, they're fielding. Like, the head is there. Your eyes are not bopping up and down. In hitting, it's not necessarily up and down with your eyes. It's forward with your eyes. Will get you in trouble. It speeds things up. So, if you're a hitter, and I'm going to give a little demonstration right here because this is what I do. If you're Lawrence Butler and early on in the season, I'm going to get away from the mic now, but you're going to see my head move.
Okay.
It's going to go up and then down and forward. Like, the ball's coming at you, your head's going at the ball. I always try to explain to people, it's like when you're passing cars on the freeway, the car going the other way in a one-lane road, how fast does it look? It's scary.
Yeah.
When you're crossing like this, same thing with your eyes in the baseball. Watch Joe Mauer. He was the biggest, influence in my career with the head movement. Whether his stride, his load, his head was right here. So he saw the ball better. Like, it's like not rocket science, but you get away from it from time to time. And Lawrence Butler had made the adjustment, seeing the ball. I know he does a two-strike approach, like the no-stride two-strike approach, which a lot of guys, you get to the big leagues, you just understand it's the excess movement has to be gone in all facets of the game. Excess movement is death in the big leagues. And
4.1.
So he made an adjustment. He's been great for the Tigers. It's like, gosh, I wish they had all these young kids up here. Their offense just was hurt all year long. Now they got these guys back and they're performing, and they're crushing the ball. They look cohesive. It looks great. It's just, it's not too little too late. They're 3.5 games back. Like, if these guys sneak into the playoffs, holy shit, dude.
The Tigers are playing Colorado. If your Twins slip up against the Angels and that 3.5 turns to 2.5, things are
it's crazy,
very
dude.
real.
Yes.
Very real.
They're there.
They need to make up a game a week, basically. And
Bo Brisky.
Don't. Easy with that.
Starving right now.
Frisky with Brisky. Trev, no, when you were doing that hitting demo, you know who jumped to mind for me? Manny Machado. Just kind of lets it come. I'm going to be here. My head's going to be there. And I think we're going to talk about him a little bit in the National League because he has the most homers ever hit by a Padre. Did you know that?
Really? Like franchise?
Yeah. Padres have a pretty weird franchise history.
Yeah, they do. They do.
He tied your guy Nate Colbert for.
But what about the Marine layer, bro?
Right, dude? Show a little respect. You're a San Diego guy. I don't have to tell you. You're also a Z-Biotics guy, Trev. We were talking before the show. And Z-Biotics, if you don't know, game-changing product before a night out with some drinks. The older you get, it's tougher to bounce back.
Jake, just hold on. Let me just tell the people.
Tell them.
Down in San Diego, Torrey Pines, JD Vance.
Wow.
A couple doors down from me. Secret Service all over the place. Was they guarding me or JD? We don't know. We don't know. Probably a little bit of both. Yeah. I knew that I was going to have some drinks. We were going to go out to a sushi dinner, and there was going to be some sake. I don't do well with sake. Right. But I did. I had it's like a little shot of Z-Biotics. I woke up in the morning. I felt great. It really worked.
Make ZBiotics your first drink of the night. Go to zbiotics.com/talkin. 15% off your first order when you use Talkin at checkout. The pre-alcohol is backed by a 100% money guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund you your money. zbiotics.com/talkin. Code Talkin at checkout, 15% out. Give it a try. I mean, what do you got to lose, you know? You know what I'm saying? Let's do some
take these off, Jake.
Okay. Those were AL only. The National League starts with Chris Rose's guards and your Dodgers. Wow, this is kind of a Chris Rose bowl on Chris Rose weekend. The Dodgers take 2 out of 3. The story continues to be their pitching. Our guy Gavin Stone goes to the IL, who's led them in innings pitched this year. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is coming back, but Jack Flaherty's still there with 7.1 shutty for them. He's been a great trade deadline ad for them. Cleveland won that first game. Matt Boyd twirling the damn pill. You're going to see him in October. And whenever they get contribution from Rocchio and Jimenez up the middle, that bodes well for them. They both homered. Mookie Betts, heard of him, homer. Shohei Ohtani, heard of him, homer. Will Smith with a big game. They need him to get going. Lane Thomas has kind of gone for the guards. Dodgers, they took 2 out of 3. The Giants take 2 out of 3 from San Diego. They win the first game behind a 2-homer effort from Machado and Michael King shoving on the mound. But the Giants, man, not a good weekend for the football Giants, but the baseball Giants, AI generator Grant McCray with a 2-homer, 5 RBI day for them. And then in that final game, $151 million man Matty Chapman goes homer, and so does minimum veteran salary Kurt Casale as the Giants take 2 out of 3. Yankees do the same to the Cubbies on the road at Wrigley. The Anthony Rizzo return, Trev. A lot of standing ovations. We love to see that. We love to see Luis Hill and Clark Schmidt back for the Yankees. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Only game the Yankees lost, no earned runs. Gleyber Torres error. Could hear that come October, and that scares them. Mets take 2 out of 3 from the Cincinnati Reds. Oh my God. Mark Vientos, 2-homer game. You're going to hear more about him later. Jose Quintana, 6.2 shut piece. Sure. My Reds fight on that last day behind Santiago Espinal and Ty France. They took the lead in the 9th there, so could have been a sweep. Was not, which keeps them tied with the Braves, but I don't give you the standings. Braves, they take 2 out of 3 from the Toronto Blue Jays. Max Fried, September Max Fried is a video game character. Go check out those numbers. Then Chris Sale, 6-inning shut piece as he's waltzing to the Cy Young now. They win that final game in 11. Your guy Jose Barrios twirled it in that middle game to a nice start. Will Wagner and Joey Loperfido. Knocking it around the yard. Spencer Horwitz been hot for them. Hear him later. Mariners take 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals. My God. Bryce Miller, 6 innings. Shutout. Kyle Gibson. Hey, watch this young fella. 6.2, 0 earned runs. God, that does something for me. In that final game, Seattle wins the set. Luke Raley, Randy Arozarena trade deadline ad. Justin Turner trade deadline ad. All those guys had 2 hits in the beautiful St. Louis under the arches. Marlins and the Phillies split 4. Phillies won the first 2. Suarez and Wheeler. Zach Wheeler coming for Chris Sale in that Cy Young a little bit. But how about the Fish? Edward Cabrera, 7-inning shutout. Seth Johnson, a John Boy Media guy, gets his debut. Gets knocked around for the Phillies. We hate that. 4-game split. We hate that. Speaking of, Nats and the Pirates. 4-game split-a-roo. Let's see. DJ Hertz, Mitch Keller, Jared Jones pitch well. Dylan Cruz is hitting. Andres Chaparro is hitting for the Nationals. Joey Bart and Andrew McCutchen homer in that last game. Yeah. And in Milwaukee, they dropped 2 out of 3 from the rock pile. Trev's Michael Toglia. He's been balling on a budget recently. Kyle Freeland, 6 innings, 0 earned runs in that final game. Willie Adames and William Contreras homered in the middle game, but that was it. As Rockies took 2 out of 3, and that's what happened in the National League.
Poppy, excellent as always,
Oh.
except I had 2 things for you.
Okay, please.
You just ran by that Pirates series, didn't even mention my guy Louis Ortiz.
No, I did not.
Let's go. Actually, the other ones for Beebs, I need you to get the Michael Toglia homer up because then I have some questions about it. But before all that,
sorry for not mentioning Louis Ortiz's 5.2 3 earned runs.
Oh, but do you want to mention his 3.3 B-WAR, 3.26 ERA for the Pirates? He never gets mentioned. That's all I'm saying. Oh, it's Mitch Keller and Jared Jones and Paul Skeens. What about my guy from the Dominican, Louis Ortiz? Huh?
Yeah.
All right. You want the standings for the National League? Okay, thank you. It's Monday. We start out west. Everyone knows that. The Dodgers, best record in baseball. Power is power, people. 86 and 57, now with a 6-game lead over the Padres. You remember it got down to what? 2, 3?
It got tight for a little bit.
Got tight. 6-game lead over them. Padres 81 and 64. DBacks 80 and 64. Half game back of those Pods. The Giants 2 games under 5 now, 71 and 73. And the Rockies 54 and 90. Shout out Kelsey Wingert.
Yes.
In the Central, the Milwaukee Brewers. One of the best stories of the year. 82 and 61. The Cubs 73 and 70. The Cardinals 72 and 71. The Reds 69 and 75. And the Pirates 67 and 76. That is the most mid-division that there ever was. Right there. Unbelievable. Out east, the Phillies, power is power. 85 and 58. 7 games up on both the Braves and the Mets. Why on both them? Oh, because they have the same record. They're tied. 78 and 65 for both of those teams. The Nats 64 and 79 and the Marlins 54 and 89. Now the wild card. This is where it gets fun, people.
Yeah.
Dodgers winning the division. Phillies winning the division. Milwaukee winning the division. 2 teams out west have the top 2 wild cards. Padres, right now, half game up, have the number 1 wild card. The Diamondbacks have the number 2 wild card. And then you go out east, and there's 2 teams tied for the 3rd wild card spot. The Braves and the Mets. Cubs 5 games back. Cardinals 6 games back. It really seems like, Jake, there's 1 spot left. Or how about this? There's 3 spots for 4 teams. So somebody is going to be left without a dance partner. And they're like, oh, man, like, I wanted to dance, and now I got to go back with Jake on the wall and put my foot up and just kind of like bob my head a little bit because nobody wants to dance with me. Those are the standings in the National League.
Trev, you have a lot of opportunities to put me down. I did.
I know you're a dancer.
Yeah,
what am I? You'll dance by yourself.
That's the one place you're not getting me. And thank you for the standings. I did. I'll fluff you back up real quick. Because one of my buddies, one of the clips that somehow went out from our show. Michael Toglia to the deep part of the park.
What I wanted to say about this is, it's a 400-foot fence.
Yeah.
StatCast had this at 390. So, like, something happened. I want to know how far it actually went.
Because that's a home run, so it couldn't be
450?
shorter than that. Trev, I had one of my buddies hit me up after last episode, and he goes, was Trevor really one of the best high school baseball players ever? And I was like, he has an argument. Like, if this is Game of Thrones, I mean, 2-way player. But yes, you are one of the best high school baseball players ever.
Just real quick, because now that we're in it, my mom has, she's moving. So she's cleaning out her place a little bit, going through some stuff. And she's, she's sentimental. She's sending me like these like articles. She sent me this Los Angeles Times 2004 Player of the Year is me.
All right.
Now, the other guys that weren't the Player of the Year, but they made the All-Star baseball team. Phil Hughes, big leaguer. Brian Anderson, big leaguer. Mike Karp, big leaguer. Mark Trumbo, big leaguer. Lucas Duda, big leaguer. Mike Moustakas didn't even make it, bro. Get out of here with that. Anyways, that was pretty good.
Regret. A lot of regret on my end, just because you said I wouldn't be dancing. Great standings, though. Incredible. Yeah, I think the storyline is, Trev, that, we've been doing Braves Mets a little bit, and it's like, okay, the Mets, let's see how this ends, and the mighty, mighty Braves. They've reeled in the West Coast teams a little bit. That's San Diego's up 2 games. Snakes are up 1.5 right now on those 2 teams that, NL wildcard has been one of our talking points all year. We thought it was over for a little bit. The Mets, 9-1 in their last 10. Oh my God. They're back. And now all 4, it's 3 for 4, like you corrected yourself and landed on. And one team's going to be absolutely crushed.
Yes. So right now, Braves, Mets, 5-5 against each other on the year. They play a 3-game set, second to last set of the year. It's largely probably going to decide which team gets in, I'd assume, unless something happens with the Padres and Diamondbacks, which it could. And we might be at that point of the season being like, oh my gosh, this doesn't even really matter. But I'm hoping, I think all baseball fans, even Mets and Braves fans, like that would be cool. Like you have a series. I believe it's in Atlanta for the playoffs. Like that's awesome, dude. Here's my take on all of this.
Okay.
And this is going to sound like such a hater take, but somebody put it out on I don't know who it was. Somebody on Twitter was putting it out there saying the Mets, the vibes are so good. They're so good. But they're not there yet. Is this setting up to be a huge disappointment
Trevor.
if they don't make the playoffs? And the question that was posed, and I wish I had this guy's. Everyone's kind of talking about this, but one guy in particular brought it to my attention. The question is, if they didn't make the playoffs, is it hey, man, we weren't supposed to compete this year, so 2025 is looking great, or is it just crushing massive disappointment? And are all those OMG pictures, are they going to be memes like OMG? Because it's 2 different meanings. If I say, oh my God, or if I say, oh my God. 2 different meanings. Could those be meme pictures, or are they going to be celebratory pictures? That's the storyline, baby. And it's a beautiful thing, Jake. It really is.
It is. And it sucks at the Mets because they've
Don't clip that social media team, because you're going to have the Mets fans
team
all over you. I'm just posing a scenario.
No, it's everything we say about the Mets. And the fact that they've been the trailing team or the team tied for the bottom. And they had the least expectations of these 3 teams before the season. So everyone's kind of like, that would be, if we put out a poll, which team isn't going to make the playoffs of those 4 teams, people would pick the Mets at a 50% clip, just between team history and the other team's expectations. And we've done this a few times now, but where they are at and the way they're playing, I want to do that playoff, who's your top 3? And Manaea, Severino, Peterson, or dude, Quintana threw his hat in the ring this weekend.
Hey, congrats, 100th career win.
It's pretty cool. It's a great career. Great career. They've got an MVP guy. They've got a lineup that on different days you're going to have a few.
People were mad that I think I said this on Baseball Today. I'd be okay with Lindor getting a few first place votes, and people are like, a few first place votes. I can't believe, why would you say it like that? I'm like, because Shohei's going to go 50-50 and he's going to win the MVP. Right. It's not a slight on Francisco Lindor. It's going to be really hard for anybody in the NL to win the MVP in the next 5 years, dude. Right. That's the truth. Look hey, talk to people who play against Barry Bonds in that era. It's tough. Doesn't mean he didn't have a great season. I understand how good Francisco Lindor is. He's been absolutely dominant defensively. He's offensively having one of his better years. He's a player, man. I get that. He's had an MVP season, but we have Shohei now. And that's for better or for worse. Obviously I think it's for the better, but
better.
He's going to be winning the MVP at an outrageous clip, dude. That's Phil Mickelson how that went.
Oh, wow. Nice ref, Trev.
Right?
Torrey Pines Trev is here. Hey, we've stumbled into Mets, so I think the boxes I need to check in that one. We had both Diaz brothers pitch in the same game, so that's cool. We love some brotherly love on this show. The Reds at one point were 18 innings scoreless going into that final game, and they end up getting it done. Noelvi Marte with the game-tying hit. Mets had won 9 in a row at one point. You mentioned Quintana's 100th win, which is pretty cool. I'm talking about your boy, Mark Vientos later. And at one point, you mentioned the Mets' vibes being high. At one point in the first game, the Mets hadn't trailed for 63 innings. How's that feel, Trev? You talked about it, how tough it must be showing up to the White Sox games right now. That's the opposite feeling. We're coming to play ball, and we're going to have the lead. The other Mets note I wanted to say, best record in baseball since May 30th. May.
Yep.
It's September. So that expectation stuff I was talking about before, like, let's put some of that out the window because the Mets have arguably, by record, been playing the best ball. McNeil gets hit, and he's probably out for the season, which that's tough. He's obviously a part of that team. It hasn't been the biggest Jeff McNeil year. That I don't know. I'm not going to throw an addition by subtraction type deal out there because he's Jeff McNeil, but something to watch for them going forward. Please.
Can I just throw? Let's get this out early for next year or the off season. JD Martinez.
Yeah.
Every single year you can have him for $12 million.
Yeah. Who's up?
120 OPS plus. This is his lowest OPS, 774 for him. Like, this is going to be like a down year for him.
Right.
Still going to drive in runs, still going to give you a big hit. So if you're a team, Mariners, looking for offense,
oh, no.
go get JD Martinez like the first week after the World Series. Like, just go sign him. Okay? And also sign David Robertson. Those two guys. Every single year, they're going to give you something. 1 year is all you got to give them.
Mariners fans, ears closed. They signed Mitch Garver for a very similar contract, but 2 years. Just a reminder.
And he's like a fourth hitting coach. I don't know how many hitting coaches. I think the Mariners fired all their hitting coaches, so they could have used.
Remember, JD chose the Mets because he drives the ball to the alley. Who was the team he turned down?
I think the Giants. Maybe
Giants.
I didn't know if you were asking rhetorically.
Maybe the Mariners were in play. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he said I'm not going there because it's not a great part to hit at.
Seen the track history. Go Mets, go is what I'll always say. Let's wrap up the East quick. The Braves series. Braves take 2 out of 3 from the Blue Jays. Shout out to your guy Barrios and the Baby Jays, who are, man. Again, go check out
Baby Jays.
Go check out their lineup, dude. It's game to game.
Okay.
Game to game, there's something going on there. Trev, I wanted to give your guy Max Fried 16 September starts since 2021, 9-2 with a 1.64 ERA. I don't know. That's just like a cool thing for me.
No, he's an absolute stud. He is going to be absolutely loaded. Very happy for my friends.
Mets.
They need to take me out to dinner.
Tom Glavine 2.0.
Mentorship.
Mets.
They don't need. They have how many lefties they need in that rotation?
Half their rotation's out, dude.
Is Manaya gone? He's not gone, is he?
I think it was a 2
he's about
year
to
with
get
an
paid.
Option. We'll get there.
Sheesh.
It's gonna be time in the
All
offseason.
more on the Braves coming a little bit later. They take care of business. Keep winning series. Obviously, I think we got to talk guard dogs. Dodgers.
Yes.
Thought it was funny over the weekend. Kenny Lofton kept referencing the teams that he played for. Kept saying Indians. We kept saying no, it's the Guardians,
Yeah.
and he was not happy about that.
Kenny.
Not happy about that. He's like 60-something. He looks great. All those guys are just in such great shape still. I aspire to be them. That's why I like to hang out with them. Dodgers take care of business, right? essentially
Yes.
the story of the game. Guardians win in Guardians fashion. That first game, Matthew Boyd pitches well, which is awesome and hilarious. Didn't Jimmy had something with Matthew Boyd way back in the day. Just was not into Matthew Boyd. I don't know what it was. But he pitches great. The bullpen comes in. They shut the Dodgers down. They win 3-1. Who drove in the runs? Rocchio and Andres Jimenez, of course.
Yes.
Like that is a Guardians effort. And then the Dodgers took care of business. They didn't score much after that. Dodgers did their thing. Flaherty, really, really good start there. Dodgers went bullpen game, game 2. Gavin Williams walked 3 hitters in the first inning, didn't make it out of it. Dodgers scored a bunch of runs in that first inning, got a lead, didn't relinquish it. So a good series for the Dodgers there. Wondering about the rotation. You mentioned Gavin Stone on the IL. They're getting Yamamoto back tomorrow. He's scheduled to start. Glasnow's like throwing a bullpen. They need those guys big time. That's going to be the question mark going into the postseason. What's the rotation going to look like? We talked about it a ton here. Last year, they kind of had the same thing, went into the postseason and got absolutely ran through by the Arizona Diamondbacks. Dodgers fans do not want that. They don't want to rinse and repeat there. So they're hoping it's Flaherty, Yamamoto, and Glasnow leading the way. Landon Knack gets called up. He's actually been pretty good for them this year. But they're trying to figure things out, man. Like they gotta. They're hoping and praying that Yamamoto and Glasnow come back and look good.
Yeah, I mean that would significantly change their outlook. Like no shots fired at Landon Knack, who's been good, or even Gavin Stone, who just went on the IL, and he leads the Dodgers in innings pitched this year. Warehouse adjacent. Gavin Stone, Colin Stone just played in the first floorball game that went out last night. An amazing moment with Chris Rose. Go check that out on our Warehouse Games channel. That is their storyline right now because they can still hit in bunches. They put up, a 6th spot in the first inning there. There's days when they will outmatch you because their lineup can start with 3 Hall of Famers. Never mind the rest of the guys in the lineup who are pretty damn good too. And dude, talk about being too close to the situation. Gavin Stone in the Warehouse. Jack Flaherty, man, he's been great with the Dodgers now, and he's going to get that basement. That's going to be a dark basement. There's going to be like a...
It is going to be dark. He likes it dark.
Glow in the dark.
How many weird Joker things is he going to have?
He's going to have like real memorabilia from the Joker movie.
Does he like Batman or the Joker?
I think he likes the Joker.
He doesn't like Batman.
I don't think so.
We got to get some clarification on that.
Maybe I don't think he dislikes Batman.
How come you call me like a nerd for quoting Lord of the Rings, but The Dark Knight is just so cool? It's a comic book.
No, I mean,
why is Jack Flaherty so cool?
There's a nerdy side to it. I mean, Batman Dark Knight, the movie, is like, it's awesome. Badass movie.
Lord of the Rings isn't a badass trilogy?
It is, and it's also very nerdy.
You're crazy, bro. One's nerdy and the other one isn't.
Is that young Bryce Harper?
That's called mental gymnastics.
Is that Bryce Harper? That's a clown question, bro.
A little bit.
Young Bryce.
A little bit.
People forget.
Come on,
that.
dude. One's like written word, Tolkien,
completely.
Novels. And the other one's a comic book.
I understand your argument completely, and I enjoy both of them a lot. I think I can fairly say the Lord of the Rings movies are just a little nerdier than The Dark Knight. I feel confident in that.
I like the Dark Knight movie. I'm not saying anything. I don't think either are nerdy. I think they're both great films. How about that?
I think you're right. I think that's an accurate statement.
Or franchises, because they have a lot of movies. Michael Kopech, obviously.
Yeah.
Biggest, obviously, turnaround in history. Go to the Dodgers, you're going to be good. Shohei, 46-46.
17-48. Giants, Padres. Hey, Giants, they get the series. I don't know, man. I shout out my guy Grant McCrae on the way through. Giants had some pop-out beef. We had some serious sun in this series. Fernando gets out of the way of the ball at the last minute. Yeah. Giants infielders were getting into a beef. I'm kind of good.
if I had to side on the beef,
Okay.
because I don't know if people saw it. It was Tyler Fitzgerald playing shortstop, Marco Luciano playing second base. That was Marco's ball, 1,000%. And Tyler said he didn't hear him call it. You don't really need to call it if it's just right over your head, bro. Like, it was directly to the second baseman.
Right.
Over comes Tyler Fitzgerald out of nowhere. He said he didn't hear him call it. And he wants him to be louder. But it's like, dude, court awareness, field awareness.
Dude, this was also, if this is very, okay, old man from tree. This is very, like, this generation of, like, whoa, they get it. Dude, I don't know if you saw it. They walk into the dugout together.
They didn't really get into it.
They're talking, like, face to face. And then I think it's Matt Williams comes in and just, like, walks between them. Like,
it's not,
There was never a push. Like, they never even, like, yelled at each. Like, nobody raised their voice.
The quotes after the game were kind of interesting.
Yeah, there were young players that had a little bit of beef with it. 2 young shortstops in the org, you know?
I like it. Hey, we're talking about Tyler Fitzgerald.
Who was your guy that you were young player coming up at the Twins at the same time? I think he got the nod before you, and then
Danny Valencia.
Was it Valencia? I thought there was someone else. I'll double check.
There might be others, but
I mean, a lot of guys had a chance.
Right.
Listen, going back to the play, we didn't show the play, but shortstop has priority too.
Right.
But, like, still, if it's to pop up directly to somebody, you kind of just let them have it. I don't know. Who cares about that? They won the series.
They won this. That's all that matters. Alexi Casilla?
I remember Lexi. What about him? We didn't have no beef.
I'm not saying beef. I just maybe it was Danny Valencia that you guys were just fighting for playing time. I'm blanking on it.
Danny talked some crap to me for sure.
Your life, not mine. Are you guys good now?
Yeah, we're good. We're just a couple guys that were trying to make it. Dude.
Yeah, that's Tyler Fitzgerald and Marco Luciano. I mean, Luciano was the bigger prospect who was kind of lined up for the gig. So I don't know. A lot of testosterone.
Going back to Jack Flaherty, I forgot. It's really hot. Heat wave here, like 108 degrees. Like, dude. It's hot. It is. I'm sweating already. I don't have air conditioning in this freaking place. I got a fan blowing on me right now. Turn it up a little bit. They said, how were you able to deal with the heat? He's like, I'm from the Valley, bro.
Nice.
818.
Detroit Avenue.
We play in the heat. These kids were like, it's too hot. I need water. I said, hey, listen up.
This is how you get,
Baseball is played in the summer. You better get used to it now, but you can't say that. I'm like, okay, kids, go get water because I can't like have some kid pass out on me.
I think water's good. Play in the heat. Drink water. Like Jack Flaherty with
football coaches used to be able to say no water until we get it right.
Jersey
now
swap.
They can't do that anymore.
Jersey swap with Cameron Brink at the Sparks game.
Speaking of Sparks,
LA guy. No, how pathetic. Just a little window into my life.
Okay.
I saw how hot it was for the Dodgers series, and the Padres series. I think both like set records for how hot it was.
Yeah, it was hot.
I got worried for Jimmy because the weather travels west to east, and Jimmy's been so happy with the weather change that I looked at the forecast for like the next week out when I saw that.
What's up with Blitzball? Because we're going out there to record soon.
We'll be good.
We'll be good. Blitzball's not running around like floorball is.
It's kind of nice to be a little hot.
Watch floorball.
Oh, God. It's too hot. I was sick. Hurt my back.
You were sick.
Lame.
It all helps, right?
What else we got, Bob? Anything else? Mariners?
Man,
2-3. They're back in it.
You're talking about a Mariner player in a minute. I'm talking about a San Diego player in a minute, so I think we can move on from them.
Hey, Mariners score 5 runs. That's it.
That's the secret. That's the secret sauce. Cubbies, who had been hot, they run into the buzzsaw that is the Yankees, and they get some pitching depth back. Their questions are similar to the Dodgers, like who's going to be twirling that pill for them. And they've got some good options. Nestor with a good appearance out of the bullpen, So that might be some tea
Oh
leaves.
yeah, but he's a little
well,
fired up about it, which is fine. Yes.
He shouldn't be. He's thrown the most innings
you
on that
want
team.
your guys to be fired up. He's like, I'm good. Don't tell me I'm not good.
His last 30 innings, he's got like a 1.0 ERA. I'd be not happy about it too. Kind of cool. Garrett Cole and Jameson Taillon in that last game. They go back a long way. They're still friends.
I like that.
That's always cool.
Mariners, for the record, 5 runs or more, 48-4.
You should
if
be
they score
coaching
less
that
than
team.
4 runs, 24-67. Score 5 runs.
Get out of here, Dan Wilson. I got a plan.
What are we doing?
See, that's where I think lame coaching is the best, like football coaching, where if you and me take over the Mariners gig, I would put the number 5 all over the locker room. That's all we need, boys.
Isn't there that movie? It's gosh, I think Kevin Spacey, who's canceled. He was in it 20 blackjack or 21,
yeah.
and they keep they just put the numbers sporadically to so you start to think about them. Just you don't put 5 all over the place, but
just hitting,
you have 5 options of what you can eat, 5 different water bottles. It just subtly. Subconsciously, all they start thinking about is 5. And then bam, they start raking. 5s. And me and Jake are taking over the world.
In 5s.
And
Trev,
we start getting shares of Nintendo, and it's great.
That's fucking brilliant. 5-minute breaks between meetings. Everything's fine. We're doing 35-minute meetings. Okay. There's some more to chew through. It's the time of the year, people. Nats Pirates, I love the young talent. We love Louis Ortiz, but
Yes, we love Louis Ortiz.
It's time for standout performances. Standout performances are brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook. Football season is here. Placed a few bets over the weekend. And at DraftKings, it's the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Right now, all new customers who bet $5 instantly get $250 in bonus bets plus 1 month of NFL Plus Premium. $250 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code Talkin. That's promo code Talkin only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Trev, you got to stand out for me.
Did I have the Rams plus 5.5 last night? I did.
Oh,
and I said, just tough. Please don't go into overtime. Yeah. Please don't go into overtime. And they did. Matthew, tails never fails. Come on.
Yeah, that was...
Everybody knows that. My standout for this episode is Chris Sale. In the game on Sunday, he went 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 7 Ks, 1 walk.
Sure.
Now, the reason I picked Chris Sale, obviously he's in the running for a Triple Crown, Cy Young, all these things. He's been incredible, and the Braves with the foresight to lock this dude up before the year, it's going to be one of the moves of the offseason. This is my stat that I love. This is what makes an ace to me. Chris Sale now has an 8-1 record and a 1.32 ERA in 12 games following an Atlanta loss. That is what you need to do when you're a top of the rotation guy, a stopper, if you will. He's been incredible. He threw 113 pitches. He doesn't care. The guy barely has any muscle on his body. He's like me post-playing career, just skinny. 113 pitches? Oh, but you got to lift legs and look at this guy's upper torso and he's so strong. No, Chris Sale's like, I'll just fling that thing up there, bro. 113 pitches. You're going to pull this guy 83 pitches. Oh, Shota can't go. Is no hitter. And Chris Sale's like, I'll throw 113 for you. And then next start, I'll probably throw 100 again because I'm that guy. I love Chris Sale, dude. I don't know. That's all I got. That's my standout.
Did you guys go all the way back? Something like that?
He kicked me out of a limo one time. And it is what it is. I still respect him.
That's how you know.
I respect the move. He was like, dude, I want to go home. I got these Twins guys in my limo. Like, they can find their own ride. See ya.
You're out, boys. It's one of my favorite stories. I'm glad when we could talk about your probably NL Cy Young winner. Zach Wheeler's got a little bit of steam, but he needs Sale to slow down, and I don't
barely know her.
Trev, great job, man. Incredible stuff. I'm going with your guy, Big Trev episode. We got the high school
It's a
clippings
big pitcher
out.
episode for me.
Teddy's a pitcher. That's why I'm wearing my Pitch Ninja shirt. I'm going to your guy, 6'4", just like you. 185, just like you.
He's 6'4"?
From Connecticut, just like me. Mark Vientos.
Wow. I don't know 6'4". Hold on a second. Did you look that up right?
2 homers, 4 RBI, 2 runs scored because he homered himself in. And one of those home run swings was a walk-off homer. Oh, my God, against the Cincinnati Reds. Trev, we did our all-JM team. You know I'm a man of the people. I'm going through some of the comments, and boy, oh, boy, the Vientos crowd not happy because offensively, triple slash line, it would be no fight. Mark Vientos at this point, 284, 340, 553 slug for an 893 OPS. Amongst the NL third baseman, that's no contest. Stop the fight. He does only have 93 games played. Defensively, I don't know if mixed bag is the phrase, but when you're competing against someone like Matt Chapman, those are different scales. But Mets fans did have their point. The 24-year-old, 24 homers in 93 games, over 162. That's like a 40-homer pace guy from your third base spot. Looks the part, is the part, and again, like we talked about, the Mets have a 75% chance of being in the postseason, and this guy has a chance of, or not a chance, will be in the middle of their lineup with a chance to have Trevor Plouffe's postseason moment. So, Mark Vientos, we didn't give you, maybe we did or didn't give you proper love on all JM, but you're getting it now.
I feel like we give him love, dude. Sometimes
we give
there's
him
someone
so
better
much
than
love.
him. Like, Matt Chapman's an absolute god.
Just got 151 mil for what he's done this year.
Like, dude.
Yeah.
Mets did that.
I love Mark Vientos. I don't know if he's 6'4", though. I'm being honest, people. I stood next to the guy. I'm only 6'1". I don't think he towered over me. I'll give him 6'2", 6'2.5". How about that? I always think it's funny. He's got 3 Baseball Reference WAR this year, B WAR, if you will. Career 1.7. So the first couple of years, Mark Vientos did not perform. I know it was small sample size, and he's a young kid. He's still only, 24 years old right now? He's 24 years old. So it takes time. My question to Mets fans is, I haven't followed, every single at-bat of his career. Did he make any swing adjustments this year? Does it look different, or is it just he's getting playing time and has the ability now to not worry about failing, and so mentally he's better? I'm asking Mets fans that.
Right.
Very curious to see, because it didn't work out for him first couple times up, and now he's absolutely started raking. I'm happy for him, big time. I think he's a great player, and he's a hot boy. Could be on my hot boy list.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're all kind of shooting for.
Yeah.
Trev, golly, you look up and down this list, Jordan, Machado, Tyler O'Neill, Pavin Smith, 3-homer day.
Say Andres Chaparro's name.
Andres Chaparro. I can't roll my R's. It's so
Chaparro.
white and soft.
That's kind of white guy of me right there.
Kyle Gibson had a shot. Michael Wacha. But this is the best part of the show.
Dirt nasties on FUEGO. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
Trev?
What's Dirt Nasty up to?
Probably sipping on Corona Extras, man.
That's right. I mean, who wouldn't want to be? I had a few Coronas yesterday while I was watching. Guys, chuck the pigskin.
Yeah.
It was delicious. We're going to start out with a series. Our guy Spencer Horowitz. I had a teammate named Brian Horowitz. Made it to the big leagues from Crespi High. How about that? He wasn't a teammate of mine. I actually teammate of my brother's. Brian Horowitz, shout you out. Spencer, though, 6 for 8 in the series. A double, 3 homers, 5 runs driven in. He recorded his first career pinch hit homer on Sunday, and he raised his OPS by 60 points during the 3-game series. Love it. Oh, speaking of Andres Chaparro, 6 for 17, a double, 2 homers, 7 runs driven in, 2 hit by pitches in the 4-game series against Pittsburgh. Connor Norby.
Look at all the kids. Wow.
6 for 17, 3 homers, 7 runs driven in. He recorded his first career multi-homer game on Sunday. He has 6 homers and 13 runs driven in and has hit safely in 17 of 18 games since being recalled from AAA. You got to love that. Of course, Kyle Schwarber's going to be on this list. All he does is hit homers. For the week, he went 12 for 26, 3 doubles, 5 homers, 11 runs driven in. You mentioned Johnny DeLuca, Jake. Yeah. He's been sipping on some Coronas, probably, allegedly. 11 for 28, a double, a triple, 2 homers, 5 runs driven in. Finally, hitting over 200 after this hot stretch. He's hitting 214 now. He hadn't been over the Mendoza line since May 30th. So, he plays some banger defense now, getting the bat going a little bit. John DeLuca, okay. He's got good style. Jameson Taillon, you mentioned him. 2 games started over the week, 13 innings pitched, 9 hits, only 1 earned run, 9 Ks, 2 walks. He's allowed 1 earned run over the last 2 starts, like I just mentioned. That's the first time since April 29th and May 4th, early on the season. And he defeated Garrett Cole, and it was Garrett Cole's birthday. So shame on you, Jameson, for ruining his birthday. What's in Garrett Cole's basement? Probably Garrett Cole has like those ships in a bottle.
Yes.
In his basement. That's what I imagine. For the 2 weeks, and this is the list you want to be on, Jake. Mookie Betts, obviously. 15 for 43, 3 doubles, a triple, 3 homers, 12 runs driven in, 11 runs scored, 4 stolen bases for the 1 daughter over the 2 weeks. How about Devin Williams? 6 games over these 2 weeks, 6 innings pitched, 0 hits, 0 runs, 3 walks, 11 Ks. Since his only blown save this season on August 21st, Williams has reared it back in and is not allowed to hit. And that's kind of what you want out of your closer. And now, for the guy that did just a little extra.
Yes.
The Corona Extra Player of the Ep is our guy. We told you this was a pitcher show. Bryce Miller. 3 games started in the 2 weeks. 17 and 2/3 innings pitched. 4 earned runs, only 9 hits, 18 Ks. That's a 2.04 ERA, a .79 WHIP. I love me some WHIP. Keep people off the base pass. That's what it's all about. He leads Major League Baseball with 9 starts of at least 6 innings without allowing an earned run. That's pretty also good. A great stat to have. And his 2.01 ERA, the .84 WHIP, the 24.2% K rate, and the 4% walk rate over his past 10 starts. We're talking striking guys out 24% of the time and only walking 4% of the batters. That's my dream. As a manager, that's what I want. Don't walk anybody. No free passes. Go at them. And that is why Bryce Miller is our Corona Extra Player of the Ep.
Bryce Miller, you're going to start wearing number 5. Trev, Corona Extra. Cheers to everyone who loves the game beyond the scoreboard. Corona for the fans who never lose. Get yours at ordercorona.com. 21 plus. Relax responsibly. Corona Extra beer. Probably going to be a big Corona Extra October for little Poppy over here. Click the link in the description. Shout out Devin Williams, not giving up any hits. That's pretty good. Raisel Iglesias is still on his scoreless streak, so it's always funny, like the guys that could constantly be Corona Extra and Fuego. But a lot of kids, and man, Bryce Miller, I wonder what kind of return that could get for like 2 hitters. Let's do the IL. The IL is brought to you by me, the worst segment of the show. Placed on the IL. Oh, Alec Bohm for the fighting Phillies. We do not like that. I told you about Gavin Stone for the Dodgers. Same with young lefty Kyle Harrison for the Giants. Miami had a slew of young boys go down. Max Meyer, Derek Hill, Calvin Foucher. Kevin Pillar, no! Putting the Angels on his back. Jeff McNeil, we talked about that one. That's significant. Edmundo Sosa for Philly, too. They're getting a little bit of the injury bug at the wrong time. Jeffrey Springs for Tampa Bay. Returning from the IL. This is what we like. Joey Bart's back. Here's a homer. Why not? Ketel Marte trying to finish 4th in the MVP voting. Kyle Tucker, significant. Couple relievers, Anthony Bender, Ian Hamilton, Victor Vodnik for your Rocks. Trevor Story, back for the Boston Red Sox, playing some shortstop. Talking baseball's Trevor Story. And Clark Schmidt, back in the Yankees rotation. Put together a really nice season before he got hurt. Trev, I think, I want to check one thing with Alec Bohm, because that's, God, he's been consistent. Sidelined for a while. Left hand still stings when he swings. Okay, that's something to note for your postseason, especially Mundo Sosa goes down. Does that mean Cody Clemens show? Trev, it's time to start everyone's week off the right way.
Awards!
Oh my God. What do you got?
This is, we've given this guy an award before, but I just feel like it needs to happen again. It's that time of the season. It's his time of the season. It's his team's time of the season. I am going to give the LaGrassa Award. Now, LaGrassa, translated into English, means the fat or like grease.
Right.
But in Dominican slang, it's like drip. It's like your flow. It's like your style. Like if you got it, you got it. And that's LaGrassa. So that's somebody's nickname. We talked about him earlier on the show. It happens to be our guy, Framber Valdez. And we kind of talked about his numbers, but I'm starting to get more curious into like his personality. I'm not in Houston. I'm not in the clubhouse. I know he's having fun. It looks great. But when I started to kind of like read about his story, I was like, I got to give this guy an award. Jake, let's just start at the beginning. Okay. Framber signed for $10,000 as a 21-year-old out of the Dominican Republic. Usually guys, when they sign, they're 16 years old.
Right.
So a little late start. Have we done this story yet? Because it's pretty freaking good. I'm going to read from his Wikipedia. 2 Astros scouts spotted him after a long day of viewing programs led by independent trainers, watching him throw only 6 pitches in the beams of car headlights as darkness fell. They offered him a tryout at the Dominican Academy near Guayacanes, which that's not how you say it. Valdez had verbal agreements with 7 teams prior to signing with the Astros, but each offer, Jake, was withdrawn after the results of his physical revealed that he might require UCL ligament reconstruction, also known as Tommy John. He's never had Tommy John. He continues to throw inning after inning after inning. Can you imagine seeing 6 pitches in the beams of car headlights and saying, all right, this is our guy? They signed him, 21 years old, $10,000. We know what he's done. He's turned into one of the best big game pitchers in the game. He's turned into one of the best pitchers in the game. You watch the guy throw, it's an absolute treat. He has the mixture of stuff plus pitchability. Like he's a pitcher. He fools guys. He, adds and subtracts velo. He tunnels almost better than anybody in the game, dude. He makes guys look foolish, and it's a ton of fun to watch him throw. The off the field stuff is pretty cool too. There's there's an article that was written last year by Chandler Rome for The Athletic, who follows the Houston Astros, and it talks about Framber and his transformation. Framber says, for me, and this is a quote, obviously it's a thing that I like to dress nice, have perfumes, things like that. For a lot of other people, they may see me and say, hey, I want to dress like that guy. All the Latin guys, that's the nickname they have for me. They see me and they think, La Grasa. Framber has 50 pairs of shoes at his Houston residence, over 200 at his home in the Dominican Republic. He got his nickname, so he became this guy. And this is a great story about Chandler, so I don't want to give away too much of it. Go check it out on The Athletic. Before he was an all-star, his first all-star selection was in 2022, Jake. And he had a start right before the all-star break against the Angels, and that is when he decided he's going to switch up the hairstyle. He got the braids, which he wears now. He went and got a suit for the All-Star game, and he said he just wanted to feel good about himself. He wanted to it was like a coming out party for him. And since then, he's the guy, man. He's a leader in there. He sets the tone. He's got the drip. He says he loves Rolexes, Louis Vuitton, all the good stuff, man. And I just think about, this is why I love baseball so much. I really do. we just draw from all over the world. You know that who's that one guy, Noah Lyles? He's like, well, it's not the World Series, it's not the World Championship, it's not playing against the world. First, the guy's he just says that to get clicks.
Yes.
Like the NBA, it's all the best players in the world go there. Major League Baseball, all the best players in the world go there. That's why they say that, dude. Okay, relax a little bit. My gosh. But you find guys, in small corners of the DR, or like Robert Suarez, wasn't he working construction, like just throwing bullpens on the side? Like you find guys like that still in this game today. It sounds like stories from the 20s that we're talking about. It still goes on today. Where you're finding guys and all of a sudden coach him up a little bit. Now he's making $12 million this year. He's still got some time going through arbitration before he's a free agent. Maybe the Astros lock him up, but La Grasa, man, he who has the drip, Framber Valdez. I just wanted to give him a shout out because I didn't know that whole background. I figured he was signed early, like most guys, in Latin America. And you could say what you want about that signing process. There's definitely some flaws there that they're trying to figure out. But for a guy to come from that into what he's become now, I say let the man drip all he wants, Jake. La Grasa, you like tip of the cap, whatever you want to say, man. I just love me some Framber, and I wanted to highlight him.
We all love some Framber, and I'm glad you did. His ERA on the year now, with 157 innings pitched, is now 2.97. He's gonna get a lot of Cy Young votes. He finished 9th last year. He finished 5th the year before that. He is one of the best pitchers in the game. He's been a Talkin' Baseball celeb for a while, even before we truly knew. And yeah, man, I don't know. That scouting that body as a 21-year-old, I don't know.
You know what his baseball reference is? 5'11", 230.
Yeah.
That's a tank.
I think take a couple points off, add a couple points up. He will be a free agent after next season, and I stumbled into this the other day, but he toys with hitters like not a lot of pitchers do anymore. And even when that sinker that sits 94, which by the way, touches 96 sometimes, even when that sinker drops down to 91, 90,
no matter.
Framber's still going to get a lot of outs. He's going to get a nice contract, and I'm excited. I hope I end up in that basement. I hope I'm a part of that basement.
14-6 with a 2.97.
Truly. I have some bad news for you before I get my award. I texted one of my favorite people to text that I wish I texted more. Jerry Blevins.
Jeff Passan. Oh.
Jerry Blevins.
I love Jerry. It was his birthday. I wished him happy birthday this weekend. Did you?
I'm about to. What did I ask Jerry Blevins, Trev?
What did you ask Jerry Blevins? Something about pitching.
Nope.
Oh, I don't know then.
I said, what's Mark Vientos' real height? Jerry, a tall man. 6'7", probably.
He's a big guy.
6'6", but probably 6'7". He said he's all of 6'4", truly. Jerry doesn't lie.
Maybe I was tall that day. Maybe I was,
you could have been having a
good posture.
You have tall days.
Yeah.
Mark was
all right.
Mark was in T-Rex mode, making plays.
Okay.
Trev, my standout award. La Grasa's so good. I'm gonna go with La Hitter. Trev, I've been on a little kick. I've been going around the office being like, contact hitting is fully dead. It feels like we had a couple guys had a different. DJ LeMahieu was viewed as one of the great contact hitters of baseball. He's gotten older. He's had a tough season, whatever. And I was like, who are the contact guys? Like, who's slapping it around? Stephen Kwan has kind of elevated his game to not be a contact guy. Well, he is a contact guy, so he was kind of my loophole. But one of the things I'd been saying, like even Arraez, his stats have been down from where he had been. Well, I think a part of that may have been, I think he had a thumb injury that slowed him down a little bit. Luis Arraez is out of his mind. He hasn't struck out in his last 115 plate appearances. Major League pitching. Major League pitching. His last strikeout was August 10th. It's September 9th, Trev. It's a month without a strikeout. Fourth longest streak in MLB since 2000. Juan Pierre on there twice. Mookie Betts, just a reminder who that cat is. And, you know, we've had a lot of discussions about how much does Luis Arraez need to contribute, because defensively he's lacking, and if you're going to give up the DH spot, you know, where does that batting average need to be? And it was kind of a little below, I guess, where we'd expect Luis Arraez to be. 20 for 48 since the Cardinals series, I think 11 games ago, something like that. 416 batting average in that time frame. I don't know, man. Nobody else is doing this. Nobody else even like tries to do this, which is kind of the frustrating thing. But it's because if you don't slug at all and you go into a funk, and just not a lot of guys can do this, man. But Luis Arraez can. So I don't know. I don't know what it means. I think it means maybe his hand's feeling a little better and he's seeing the ball pretty damn well. And like we said, 75% chance we're going to see him come October, probably 90% chance. And here's what I'll say. This is one of Jake Storielli's coaching methods. What does the other team not want? And maybe that's how you should act. Like, hey, the other team, do I want to see, this is a lame example, do I want to see Emmanuel Clase come in the game? No. No, I do not want to see that. I don't want to see Luis Arraez at the plate, dude. Because I can't beat that guy. That guy basically needs to beat himself. So I'm giving Labata to Luis Arraez.
I like it. 4.3% K percentage. The next closest is Stephen Kwan at 9.2. Nobody else in the single digits.
It's nuts.
How about Jose Ramirez, though? Fifth in K
everything.
percentage. He's a freak. But yeah, no, Luis Arraez is different. If you get a chance, anybody out there, go like look up his cage routine and kind of like see what he does to get ready for a game. Then you'll start to understand, okay, that's how he has a K percentage where he does. I mean, he does some drills where the ball is basically behind him. Lets the ball travel, sees it, like I was talking about early on in the show. And yeah, he's a different type of hitter, man. I love it. That's why I love the Padres. I love their lineup because they have a lot of guys doing different things in that lineup. It's not just slug. It's not just contact. It's a little bit of everything. They have some speed. It's fun to watch.
Imagine October 27th, 9:39 p.m. And there's LaGrassa versus Lahita. Framber versus Arraez. My God.
Ooh, I'm looking career numbers up right now.
Okay.
Hold on.
Career numbers to end the show. I'm going to text Jerry. Wow. Needed that. And then I'll say happy belated, by the way. Not that I forgot. Not that
You did
this
forget.
is on the show.
I texted him promptly.
That show.
Let's see.
Framber versus Arraez. Trevor Plouffe to end the episode.
I gotta take the minimum down. I gotta take the minimum ABs down.
Has it ever happened? It's had to, right?
Framber Valdez versus Luis Arraez. 1 for 6.
Okay.
The one hit. A freaking homer.
Wow.
There's no way that's going on. Framber has struck him out one time, one walk as well. So that's a 167, 286, 667 for a 952 OPS.
I mean, that's insane that he has a homer off of him. Wow.
That is insane.
Trevor, what a way to end the episode. 3 weeks of regular season ball to go. And then it's the real stuff. Thank you, guys. Make sure you're subscribed and all that jazz. We'll see you Wednesday midweek Have a great week.
Yeah.
Why not? You control it. Get that lunch you like.
Hit the like button, subscribe, spread the word. I feel like we're kind of hitting on all cylinders right now, if we're being honest. We've been locked in as of late. Big debate tomorrow.
Oh boy. Talk about that Wednesday.
Yeah. I was a Kanye for president guy.